Hello and welcome back to HateWatchers. Today we've finally reached the end of our retrospective review of the first season of The Wheel of Time, and just in time for the premiere of the much-awaited second season. Without further ado, let's jump right into the breakdown for episode 8, entitled The Eye of the World. Spoilers ahead. We kick things off 3,000 years in the past where an interracial couple are fighting over who will change this baby's diaper. The man is unstable and aggressive, and the woman is calm and collected, talking about how men will set society back thousands of years. This guy is the original Dragon Reborn, and we look out the window in the past, at the future. We catch up with Rand and Moraine, who are knuckle-deep in Wisdom's bush, where they find a cordyceps victim. Perrin, lethargic and exhausted from his vegan diet, comforts Egwene, who is devastated by Rand escaping her abusive grip. Back in the city, Wisdom is upset that Lan has emotions about another woman after Moraine left without telling him. Wisdom says, "I know a trick that will cheer you up," and he's like, "Oh yeah, that thing you did with the ice and your armpit last night?"
You are a remarkable woman, Wisdom.
But actually she can track Moraine via a kind of tell through the One Power, which I call the super convenient plot device. Rand is confronted by the Dark One in a vision, and when the Dark One brings up a potential future for Rand with Egwene, he does whatever it takes to get out of the vision. Rand wants a plan for when they reach their destination, and Moraine has a convenient plot device of her own that will increase Rand's ability to channel 1,000-fold. Wisdom is meditating when Egwene finds a new victim to annoy. Egwene's ability to listen to the One Power is getting stronger.
Do you hear anything? Something wrong.
Rand and Moraine giggle about deforestation. They take a break, and Moraine tells Rand a story about her first lesbian experience.
There was an Aes Sedai at the White Tower when I was a novice. She was strong, controlled, precise. She was terrifying. And she took a liking to me, and she came to my room at night, alone, and she beat me, and she wouldn't stop. Until the pain and the fear was so overwhelming.
The leftovers head to the bar for answers, and the ogre gets groped by a drunkard. But when everyone recognizes Egwene, they flee the establishment. With the Dark One's army on the move, the Shogun prepares to ride to Helm's Deep to slow the invaders, even though he knows it's a suicide mission. Moraine and Rand reach the bottomless pit hidden within the forest known as Wisdom's Bush. Lan, no stranger to Wisdom's Bush, dives headlong into the thicket in search of Moraine. Rand and Moraine search this old mysterious temple, and Rand sees visions of the Dark One and himself as the Dragon Reborn, who technically is the darker one of these two. He's remembering bits and pieces and is mentally teleported into a hideous, nightmarish future where he's been tricked into a life with Egwene. She hands him a baby to hold while she goes off to whore around. In the real world, Rand is unconscious, and the Dark One comes in and subdues Moraine, taking away her ability to touch the source. The Incel Minotaurs patiently wait for their enemies to build up their forces before launching their attack. All of the men in the city ride out to meet the danger first, while the women stay behind and rebrand the fortified city Strong Chicksville. The Nazgul, Voldemort, Dementors are back to lead the Incel Minotaurs against Helm's Deep. Hours later, back in Rand's vision, Egg finally waddles back home. The Dark One tells Rand he has the ultimate power to reshape the world and urges him to lightly touch his darkness. The Shogun dies at Helm's Deep after killing one Incel Minotaur. The few remaining men in the city are put to work doing manual labor as they dig up the horn of something that is supposed to be given a sloppy blow at the last battle. Egg and the Wiz join some other strong women in the middle of nowhere, linking their female strength as they prepare for 10,000 approaching incels. Rand is holding in some major gas during this critical moment. The 5 channeling chicks call down the thunder, doing what hundreds of armed men couldn't and stealing credit from Rand's work in the book. Rand takes out the plot device and wakes up and shows it off to the Dark One before using it to banish him from the Matrix. Perrin turns his back for 1 second and the guards and ogre get murdered by the completely unexplained merchant guy from episode 1. Wisdom and Egg are close to melting from all the girl boss power being channeled, and Wisdom takes the hit for Egg and dies. The merchant guy talks about prophecy with Perrin and about how rare he and his 4 friends are before taking the magical horn. Now that Rand has been officially labeled as a toxic male who can channel, he isn't going back with Moraine, and he asks her to tell everyone that he's dead. Wisdom is burnt toast, but is somehow healed and comes back to life. Alright? Rand wanders off through Wisdom's bush. Moraine now has some magic rock that somehow means this wasn't the final battle. What? We jump over to the beach where the magical Mongols have arrived, and the episode and the season come to an end. Well, it wasn't a hard thing to predict, but I did call the Dragon Reborn's identity back in episode 1. She warns that these creatures are here for these 4 main characters, as one of them must be the dragon. Gee, I wonder who it could be. So as for this episode, I'm not sure how it compares with the books, but holy shit, they really made this merchant guy just appear out of nowhere. You're kidding yourself as a writer if you think people will remember this guy from episode 1. And even when confronted with who he is, I still can't really tell you who he is, or what he wants. I just know he's bad, so they butchered that character. And even though this ending is really just the first step into the rest of Rand's story, it's still super ill-defined what the dragon is actually capable of. Maybe we'll find out in a few hours with the premiere of Season 2. Let us know in the comments the worst change from the books that this show made in your opinion. Now that I've finished the season, I went and read up on most of the differences between show and book, and there's some pretty important ones. And way too many to sum up in this video. Also, let us know what you were thinking about the season as a whole when you first finished it. Like the video if you liked it, and subscribe to HateWatchers to catch our coverage of the 2nd season of Wheel of Time beginning this week. Thank you for wrapping things up with us today, and we'll catch you on the next one.